Oh, la kotla, oh, nanara sekuna, nanara sekuna.
Thank you for sharing that. How did that affect you? Did you know that your mother, that they had burnt it to the ash before you left? Escape or they stayed there?
Yeah, so somebody brought them later. Somebody came to them later. They are still alive.
Your mother went back to the village and they burnt her house, right? Where were you?
I was, at that time I was in Liberia. But somebody when they have told me during the intervention.
During the intervention?
Yeah, by ECMO.
I'm sure things like that will never happen because like measures have been taken. And for your properties, I'm sure this is the time for you to put yourself in place and decide to,
Try not to give her advice, just tell her how you feel about her fears.
About the situation.
About the fears that she shared that it will happen again.
Really, I feel bad.
Yeah.
I feel bad. And even if I was in that particular state, in fact, I should have felt more bad, but the only thing, I feel bad because kind of situations are really boring. So please, take heart.
Yes. You're proud of yourself for even expressing your feelings today. Okay.
Take the average Sierra Leonean today, most people develop pressure because of that. Because if you think every day what happened to your life and what you have seen, when I explain all what happened to me, and this lady explained all what happened to her, I feel I get more empathy for her, more than I do. Because she was right at the scene. Myself, I was, on to this point, I've never seen the grave of my brother. But she is saying she was there when those heads were brought at his presence. So it made her feel more different.
Now we all have really some good ideas. The next thing is, how do we take that step? When you leave this room today, what is your next move?
Any other responses to what you shared? I'm sorry that you have the nightmares still and the bad dreams, and that you have put on the body. It's the #1 problem. People describe in their lives after these experiences problems with sleeping, problems regulating their emotions.
In 1996, 95, 96, when the rebels attacked the first intervention at McKinney, by then I was in JSS1 at boys school. 25 by that time. I was a young boy just coming up. So I started to experience certain stories because by then I lost my parents by not knowing their destinations by then. And most of the time these rebels, we knew that they are looking after medical practitioners. And my parents, we are fortunate to be, the two parents, we are medical practitioners also. So I heard many stories from my colleagues, they are outside, that my parents were being killed during the war by then. And remember by then I was boarding at the government secondary school for boys there. So I lost my attention, I lost hope totally. And most of my colleagues there with us, most of them joined the rebels. I did not able to find my parents there, and they told me also that they have run to Freetown. Some people say they are dead. They have been killed. Sorry. My parents now, I was only able to access my parents through by letter. So I penned them down.
We are moving out of the conflict. We are now moving into reconstruction. The war ended in 2000, but the marks of trauma still pervade certain individuals in our society.
Nobody talks about their spirits, their psychological needs, their emotional needs. That gets kind of pushed aside because the basic needs are important and get all the focus. So that's the reason we formed our organization, to specifically address the emotional, psychological, and spiritual needs and integrate it in a meaningful way that we go beyond the trauma, we learn from it, and we really commit not to repeat the mistakes. But the commitment has to be within each and every one of us. We can't really leave our responsibilities for others. There are things that we have to do to secure peace, first of all within each and every one of us, and then transmit that to the world. As Maya Angelou said it in a very profound way, history, despite its wrenching pain, cannot be unlived. But if it's faced with courage, it need not be lived again. Anyone has some ideas how you think that we can transform these violences into peace building and transcending and developing the country and the psyche of Sierra Leoneans. Let's hear a little bit from you before we share our observations and our ideas of areas that could be developed further. Yes, Victor.
It's today very difficult because before this time, Sierra Leoneans, we used to know ourselves as a family. Communities used to call their children as community children rather than individual children. We didn't know. Yeah, we didn't know Mr. Brahma's child. We only knew it's our child.
Yes.
That was what existed. We had that community bond. We had that cohesive community love that used to exist. But, you know, with the war, all of these things, you know, shattered, and all what held us together was attacked, and all the community love or bonds fragmented into bits. So today it's very difficult for communities to, really come together again and work as a community. And in fact, that is also having an impact on our development, because sometimes when you take projects at community level, it's very difficult for people to support, to follow this project, because they have this difficult, past, sad experience, especially when some of the community members, their children were the perpetrators. Even though some of these children themselves were victims per se, because they were adopted and, you know, disorientated and used, and at the end of the day they became perpetrators. So for me, what I will propose, now that this link has started, I will propose that all participants in this workshop, we try to build their capacity or competencies so that they can become helpers, you know. Yes. Because if we have helpers out there and they start to work at community level, at family level, at grassroots level, yes, then that starts a base. That could be a base. But you know, we have very few people that have some knowledge in the field of psychology, because it's a new phenomenon in our context, like I was telling you, yes, sometimes back when we were in our discussion. And we have very few people that are trained.
How many of you are interested in going back into your communities where after you graduate and doing some of this work, if you are trained? Almost everybody wants to go back into your local communities, but you need the training, is what I heard Victor saying, so that you can do the job. Okay, that's good to hear.
So if you think you need some more training to feel adequate enough to go out and help, it does not have to be the whole of Freetown. It can be small groups, or you go to the schools to train children. Get your little, maybe family members to start off with them. So you can start off with small groups.
I just want to inform you at this point that we have the psychosocial network. We are trying to build, to establish it, and to actually have people on board. At the moment, we have 7 people who are
actually committed to the coalition, and all of us here have benefited from that training, and we have been yearning for more training like this one. We are really grateful that we are part of your privilege. And not only the psychosocial network, but we also have I think 2 other groups. One is Graceland Counseling Services that works at community level.
You're sharing your knowledge, you're learning some things that we have learned from the field, and then you will take this to your family and your community, and therefore they will impact other community, and then you will expand to empower the surviving community and build their mental health delivery system. And we continue coming, different teams will be coming to continue the work, and to have you in the team so that you can go to the different provinces and you can role model and learn from one another. Then after a year, we can leave, we go to another country, we take some of you to, let's say, Darfur or other countries, and the other people here can continue the work. Okay? So this is the plan. And then